live stream where we chat about our work, our school, what brings us life, what makes us human.
Hmm.
And so we always love to check in with each other on what's alive. What's alive in you, Summer?
Ah, ah, I just excitement for what's coming. There's just so many serendipitous happenings. It feels like flow state with
Wow.
people that just feel deeply aligned with everything that I truly value, and so it feels like it's picking up pace. Yet at the same time, it feels um, it feels slow moving, at the same time creating so much, evolution and emphasis, even though it feels slow paced. It's like time is slowing down and more is happening. That's how I can describe it. I like the
Yeah, it
feeling.
sounds like flow state,
Yeah.
alignment and congruence. Yeah, beautiful.
That's what's alive in me and feels deeply like this consistent flow of energy.
Mm.
Yeah. What's alive in you, Mr. Dre,
Mm.
today? I'm a
Well,
poet.
I mean that sounds so sweet um, to hear that,
Mm.
and very juicy. What's alive in me? I'd say like focus and concentration. Uh, just been a series of things I said I would do and I'd follow through on it, and just kind of get it done. Right, getting that warrior energy in place, and
Mm.
that's something I love about myself is even when there's something that's like hard to do and heavy when I think about it, like I just don't want to do it. Just even simple things as like throwing out the garbage or something or doing the dishes. Like it takes that energy, right? Or even like a task where I'm like, "Ah, I've been avoiding and I just get into it, just like warrior it up. I just build this flywheel momentum and it just
Mm.
speeds up. And I'm like, and I'm so immersed in it. And it's like, so I really, I really feel proud at the moment.
I would like to echo that I see that skill, that momentum that you have, it gives me added momentum because you are good at that, and it does, right? And
Hmm.
hello, Sherry, so happy to see you. The simple act of putting out the garbage, of doing stuff actually takes energy, doesn't it? It takes a decision, it takes something internal that that sometimes is
Yeah,
hard, isn't it?
exactly. And there's I procrastinate. There's things that I avoid 100%, right?
Mhm.
And there's certain tasks that just seems like it's insurmountable. Like it's so like, oh, I don't want to do it. And I just want to close my eyes.
Totally.
Totally resonate with that. Anyone resonate with that?
What would Sherry
And
say? Oh, your
y-
mic sounds quieter to Sherry.
oh, my mic. Okay. Thanks for the feedback. Let me adjust some things here.
I can hear you fine, but yeah, the unsurmountable things when it's like, okay, I just have to move a bag of something here to there. But the idea, it's almost the mental processing of it is what takes the effort rather than the actual physical moving part of it. Um, to clean the dishes, to take out the garbage, to wash the clothes, to fold the clothes, to put them away sometimes, right?
Oh, exactly. And it's just mental gymnastics, right? That drains a lot of my energy. Like just thinking about it. Think, should I do it or should I do it tomorrow? And then I beat myself up. I said that yesterday and I didn't do it. So am I gonna follow through now? And so this back and forth, ping ponging is such an energy drain. It really does, right? I could have just put that energy towards the thing itself. So I find you kind of relate. Yeah.
This is funny. I've never really heard you say this, but mental gymnastics it is what it is, isn't it? It's more exhausting than doing the thing itself. Anyone else do
Totally.
that? I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but yeah. Mhm.
So what is supporting me is creating ritual space, like just setting intention of like, hey, got the right music on, got the right smells on, even planning ahead, knowing that okay, I'm gonna do this, and then just biting down and doing it. Just by doing it, it just builds that momentum, right? And so, um, one thing I want to share before we kind of move into this topic, because I know we're kind of segueing off the track here, is this: I'm just gonna do it because that's who I am. I'm just gonna do it because that's just who I am. And there's a sense of relief where I don't have to fight myself or prove to myself that I'm productive or I'm worthy or I follow through on my word or fighting with myself. I'm just gonna do it because that's my identity.
Mm,
Yeah, and that has really worked for me. Like just like I'm disciplined, I'm consistent, I persevere, and I love it. That's what I love about myself. Let's just tap into that. So there's no need for willpower.
mm.
Just this is who I am. I get shit done. Great. Yeah.
There must be some kind of archetype like that. I get shit done archetype.
Warrior. It's the
Warrior.
warrior energy.
Yeah.
To get just buckle up and get shit done. Right. So
Mm,
speaking of getting shit done,
yeah.
we got a lot of shit done. And we did talk about shit and poop and fertilizer, right? Composting.
Actually, that was a topic at our weekend
Yeah.
retreat, actually quite
Yeah.
often, wasn't it?
Talked about constipation, right? There's such a thing called emotional constipation and letting that move through and creating something. And that was summer school. That was last weekend. A group of us were away for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it was
Sherry was
potent.
there.
Yeah, Sherry was there. So,
Sherry, you gotta come on one of these lives one weekend, one Friday. Yeah.
and you know what? I don't
What?
see the comments on my end. Like the chat
Oh.
is broken on my end,
Oh, no!
unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah,
you
we
got
got
you got to let
Esther
me know.
here, and Naomi is here.
Oh,
She says
okay.
yeah, I don't know how to put them up on our screen, though, because that's what you do. I don't know how if I can do that on my end. Yeah, and Jody is here. We got Jody,
Ooh,
Sherry, and Naomi.
it's a party.
Sherry says,
Jeez.
"Guys, I'm procrastinating getting shit done by watching you. Stop interrupting me."
That's awesome.
Hilarious. Naomi says, hard relate for me too. More exhausting to see it and avoid it than do it. And Jody can relate, right? Humans, we're just so, precious and funny. Yeah, Sherry, we should have, how many people can we have on the screen at once? We should have the whole team on here.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a great test. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe next
So
Friday.
I'll let you be the one to
Get us
monitor the
back on
chat and
track.
just bring
Okay.
them in because I
Okay.
can't see it. I'm if you
Okay.
see me looking down, I'm looking down on my phone to like pull up the comments on my end and to see. So just want to let you know that I'm not being distracted or anything like that.
Okay, I'll have to
Anyways,
zoom in. Yeah,
um,
they're so small in the corner of my computer here.
so speaking of summer school, like what's alive for you? What's coming up for you with summer school? What's the integration from it? If I put some direction.
Well, what's immediately coming alive for me, besides the content that the Relational School Wisdom team put together, uh, is that it was a weekend, in Casey, uh, where I don't wanna say unexpectedly because it was kind of expected, but the timing with which my father passed this weekend was very, meaningful for me, and, it because I felt his presence and his spirit moving through our space, and the actual words that came to me, were the winds of change. And we watched Moana last night, that movie, and it brought tears to my eyes, as Moana's moving and her grandmother's dying, and then she sets out on that sailboat, and her mother's reincarnated as the stingray underneath, and blazing this path through the water for the boat to set sail. That is how I felt, actually. Um, because summer school was kind of like the ship, the whole relationship of the whole team putting their energies into moving ahead on this path, on this movement of water that's moving forward. And my dad's like the wind in the sails. And it really felt like that. I think culture, we miss what ancestors can download and provide energetically. Um, and they can give us so much power, so much richness in our lives through it. And so that's what I'm absorbing and nourishing right now, actually. Um, People often have this sense of, oh, grief or heaviness. Um, and I feel lighter. I feel gifted with extra energy. It wasn't quite like that for the first day, but I sense him really close by. And I think it's giving me a sense because I don't know how the tribes and why they tapped into and had rituals around speaking to their ancestors. And it wasn't just placating, it's not just words, it's the feeling, the felt sense of someone who's been here before you, who has left the plane and is now, um, I don't know if I want to say recycling the energy, but as a family of energetic influences and evolution of what we might call the family field. It's very powerful. It's very powerful. That's all I have to say is it's so powerful
Mm.
and easy. That scene from the movie, you didn't know that. I didn't say anything, but it's emblazoned in my mind of that because it was a glow. The stingray underneath the boat, just underneath, laying that path. And that's
Very symbolic.
from my dad in the way of wind. Yeah, that day. Yeah.
Mm. Wow.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, the winds of change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. The
Yeah.
changing of the guard and also a way for the generation to pave the way for the next, you know?
Yes, exactly. The path to pave the way. He always said to me, well, last year he said to me, as all parents, they just want to give their children the world. And in that way, he has.
Mm.
And is parting energetically and, all the other things that he will leave. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Didn't
I have him in
expect
my mind's
that.
eye. What was that?
I said you didn't expect that, did you?
No expectations.
Well, no,
Just
right, exactly. Um, so what's alive in you around that? That's for me, the interweaving, like he's part of the team to me. We were all the living team. And then
mm,
Chris Roseborough, actually, I felt his presence as well. And my dad, I felt like he was there and part of what we're doing. Like, for
That
him
makes
to,
sense.
like, leave that weekend and leave that energy in that space, and to choose that time to go, like, very, auspicious, as they may say,
Mm,
for me.
yeah. Yeah, I speak to that in terms of my spiritual practice of being attuned to, the magic and wonder of existence, and I talk to my ancestors all the time. I have them close by. They're in my blood, and I connect with them, and it gives me a sense of ease and peace, sort of safety net that I am supported in the other realms. And at times, supporting my clients, I also speak to their ancestors and have my ancestors connect with their ancestors, so that we can support them in their highest and best good, you know? And so I totally see like your dad being there because yeah, he's with you. He's with you. Like if someone close to me passes away, like the movie Coco, they're always with me, right? I can always invoke that and be with that and feel that and sense that, right? So it feels like they never left, right? And I haven't, personally experienced my mom and dad passing away. And, a couple weeks ago, and it's been kind of top of mind is anticipatory grief. Just
Mhm.
imagining, like being with my mortality, being with my parents' mortality and seeing them getting older. And it's just more appreciation. Yeah. More love I see with it too, because I'm feeling it and grief and love are two sides of the same coin. And so that's an arena that I yearn to explore more and bring more into our culture, right? We spoke about summer school about culture making and how do we bring the old ways into the new ways of the modern age, not just running away and living out in the boonies in the forests and just cutting off from reality. So bringing those practices, those uh, conversations around death and
Mhm.
grief.
Yes. And Casey made a comment there too, keep the positive attitude, but, grief is okay too. And as you said, grief, we don't have enough processes for grief in our world. And I think, isn't it you, Dre, that says that grief is a form of gratitude and giving thanks for that which was so important or beautiful in our lives? Um,
Yeah, it's
it's
an
it
act of it's love's last gift
Mm, yeah,
to um, honor
honor.
what we love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, eh, Case yeah, I mean, my daughter and I took a trip to visit my dad, um, and we spent that time with him, and it's been a year. We were thinking he was going many times, and so I had the opportunity, um, like you said, actually, Andre, I haven't heard that term before, anticipatory grief. I had this my dad and my dad's wife took very good care of him in his last days, and, um it was very special. We got to one visit play games. He had enough energy to still do that, and he gradually declined, and I got to speak with him. His body was falling apart, but his mind was, like, alive. He was cracking jokes. It was a crazy how alive, and the things that he could remember that I couldn't, like, he was, like, all there mentally and emotionally too, the whole time, and I so grateful for that. I can't imagine what, sudden death or people that have to deal with Alzheimer's their whole time. Um, it was probably one of the most graceful ways of going that I've ever seen. Um, and my dad was positive and it not in a bypassing way. He was in acceptance of his path. And there's a saying in that movie Unbecoming that I went to recently. And it really strikes me, and that is that we only suffer when there's lack of acceptance. And so in life, there's also death. Part of life is death. We're dying every day to parts of ourselves that no longer serve us. And the more willing we are to die to those saboteur parts of ourselves or those protector parts, the less we suffer, the more we're a part of life. The winter and the springs and the falls of life and being in it. It's so rich. Like you say, it's about the compost. We're always so weird. Oh, look at the shit. The shit smells. We don't like the shit. Well, the shit turns into compost. The compost makes new life. Why do we fight certain seasons? That's to me the pain of it all. And so for me, grief has a certain sweetness to it. A certain gratitude. And the tears become because of the sweetness that is so beautiful, really. And the older I'm getting, the less bitter I am, less anger I am about life because I'm becoming closer to it and I'm more a part of it than I've ever been. I'm no longer fighting it.
Beautiful, beautiful. There's so many beautiful threads there, babe. Um,
Mm, that's what I'm feeling.
yeah, yeah. This when you talk about the sweetness, it's like this sweet pain.
Mm,
It's just being with the sweet pain of life, all of it. Like you said, whatever I resist persists, and suffering is a result of not accepting what is true, what is in reality, not accepting death, for example. And so when I don't accept what happens, I fight, right? And when I fight, I blame. I blame things outside of me. I blame circumstances. I blame God. I blame everything, whatever comes to mind, and because I'm not accepting it.
yeah.
But when I can come into this consciousness of sitting with it without judgment, this allows myself to reorganize itself, to just be with it without needing to change it. And then something magical happens is this for me, it's like this acceptance comes with this relief of, oh, that's just what it is. And it comes a sense of ease. And once I have that ease, I have clarity on the gift that it gives me. Right? It makes me when I come face to face with my mortality, I come with a reverence of life, reverence for my life, right? Value
Good
for other people's
point.
lives.
Good point. Right, when we accept our own mortality, we have reverence for life. That's that strikes me.
There's this sense of humility, a gratitude for what I've been given. And
Mm,
even like, man, I wanna live. I wanna leave an impact. Yeah.
mhm. So there's more
Yeah.
comments here. Quite
Yeah.
few of them. Yeah, I'll read them. How do you bring them up so people can see them too? I don't know.
On the
How do you
right-hand side, you may have it, may not. There's a chat button, and when you click
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it, it should show the list
Shit.
of
Oh,
comments.
yeah, yeah, it's there, yeah. But then how do you
Okay.
bring them up, like, on the screen here?
You click on the
Okay.
comment.
You just click on the comment? Okay.
Yeah. Do you have it?
It doesn't and then what? Oh! Oh!
No, no,
Oh, oh,
that's
they're
not
all
it.
on there. Oh, they were there for a second, or is that you? Okay, well, I'll just read it.
Yeah.
Naomi says, "I was stuck on a grief process in January, crying, talking. Nothing was effective in expressing it until I picked up a paintbrush and let the grieving part of me paint it out. That's when it moved." Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many ways to move, right? And she also says, "So I see that we lack ways to go deep enough to express it." Yeah, to express the totality of grief. I'm sure, like snow in the Eskimo world, there's 10,000 words for snow, and we have one, snow, might be ice. But yeah, grief has different connotations. Sometimes people think of it as, devastating to sadness and heaviness and despair and perhaps depression. Um, but like you said, there's some kind of sweetness to that, to being a part of life, of the ebb and flow of taking in and letting go, taking in and letting go. Um, and I know painting is certainly a way that I process. There's art therapy. And then to me, there's a what Sean McNiff, who was an art therapist, would say is more about trusting the process of expression, but also of life itself. How do you trust life itself and how it ebbs and flows its way through your own body conduit? People express through dance, through art, through different types of martial arts. And I know when I struggle, particularly with my daughter when she was a teenager, being able to paint and feel those emotions and the imagery that came out, it informed me. It allowed, like you said, Dre, that the gift to reveal itself in the we call it pain that's moving through us, but I think it's like the seed that gets dropped below the surface, and it's struggling its way to become a flower or tree, whatever it is. And as Viktor Frankl says, we always need some kind of tension between who we are and what we're becoming. I think that's part of life of being in a body, is having the tension of being in it. Um, wow, there's so many comments. I wish I could bring them up. Casey again says, cherish the memories while you remember them. I lost my memory of my younger age and lost my great grandmother to cancer, and my children remind me of her. Ah, and that's the other thing is, pictures and mirrors of our children and grandmothers. Like, there's so many mirrors within the family of our close family, our blood family, but also mirrors of other, what I would call our soul sisters. And Giselle just hopped on here too. Look at all of everybody here today. And Giselle says, I can touch my grief through sound. Yeah. And I think, Dre, you told me a story once of the tribes. They were deliberate in their processing of grief, right?
Yeah, like groups of women just wailing, like just yeah, really, really, really into it, and that being held by the group and witnessed by the group alongside dance, right? Alongside celebration,
Mhm.
just allowing the energy to be moved, right? All of it,
Can you say the men, like,
expressions.
they would drum too? The men would be drumming, the women, screaming, wailing, dancing, whatever it is. Was that
Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, not enough wells of expression in our culture. We, I was actually at a funeral or 2 recently, and, uh, people try to maintain their composure and not cry in front of people. And here we have tribes that they're deliberately expressing and wailing, and not to exaggerate, but to allow that what's moving through someone to move through them without having to tuck it in or portray it a certain way. Um, certainly not to
Yeah.
hold it in.
Holding in, right? To be polite, to be nice, to be good, and the reward of that is depression because I'm holding back my expression, my realness, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. So where does it go? It gets trapped, right? Lodged somewhere. Yeah.
That's where I think our culture has an immense amount of a grief, what some people might call a pain body that's sitting there to be unleashed. And I wonder, we've got torrential downpours and rains here that we've never had in Alberta in our lives, and the winds of change are happening. Um, and
Yeah.
how do
Yeah. I mean, Western culture is teaching me to move on, teaching me to do, right? Teaching me
Mhm.
to go on to the next thing and not really sit and contemplate and reflect and clean my shit and turn my shit into compost. Like it just leaves the shit there, right? And all of a
Mm.
sudden the shit starts piling up. And yeah,
Yep, becomes trauma, becomes all of these things versus being able to process our experience.
and it becomes overwhelming. And so when I'm overwhelmed, I just want to disassociate or numb and take your pick, right? There's many ways to numb, many options to do that. Um, and it's so scary to just be able to sit with that mountain of shit, right? Because it seems so much that I'll be engulfed by it, especially when I'm not used to sitting with my shit and composting it, right? Because now I'm like, I want to meet my shit, please, please. I want to be with it, like please, like I love it. Though there was a point where I was afraid of it, and we can talk about the shadow. We can talk about the unconscious. Um,
Well, it
just
reminds me sorry, the very beginning of this, you started talking about the procrastination pieces, like even just taking out the garbage or whatever, and the mental gymnastics of it. And I think we have so many different types of mental gymnastics and procrastination and bypassing and all the things that you want to talk about uh, for our emotional shit. And the more, like you said, I love it. Let me in there, right? Let me compost it. The more we grow, the more new things that sprout up. It's it doesn't, you know, stay stanky. I just wanted to
yeah,
tie it back because it reminds me of you saying that at the beginning.
yeah, and just realizing like because I have this stuff, right, and because I don't know what to deal with it, I've been told to ignore it or fight it or
Mhm.
kill it or get rid of it.
Bury it.
And that somehow is the idea of going to war with myself, right? Imagine that. Like my inner world is a battleground. How much energy would that take? How would that have, impact my well-being? And so it's so easy for me to be aggravated, triggered, annoyed because of my internal strife that's going on with my inner system. And so then I project this to other people. Right? I barf on other people. I project onto other people because I haven't dealt with my inner reality yet. So imagine that, right? How can I let's go back to being with sweet pain, to be with like sadness in a way of like, how can I mourn in a way that is felt and it comes with appreciation? Well, that starts with me just being with it without judgment, without needing to fix anything. And the sense of ease and relaxation comes because I start orienting my system. The parts of myself start coming together rather than against each other. It's the practice of just sitting with the paradoxes of my life, to sit with both. The part of me that wants to rest, that I judge to be lazy, the part of me that wants to grow and move, that I judge to be like hyperactive, right? So how am I speaking to myself? What language am I speaking to myself? Like this idea of like being with grief, but not really because I'm blaming people. I'm shaming myself. I'm feeling guilty. I feel obligated to let this go. It's like violence. It's self-violence to myself. So it's not clean. It's not light, and people can feel that. Just like an apology, right? "Oh, I'm so sorry, babe." It's like, let's wipe this slate clean. Let's clean it. Let's just move on. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Like, what? That doesn't excuse the impact of what happened, right? There's no learning from that. So, how do we start bringing in care? By slowing down, sitting with it, being like, "Hmm, okay." Checking in of like my needs, right? What needs were met by my actions? Not just, oh, I want to care for the impact. Cognitive, right? I see how that impacted you. Got it, got it. Yeah, I'm really sorry because I see this, blah, 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 blah. No, it's really tuning into the needs that weren't met by my actions. And realizing those needs are the same as my needs. I have those same needs too. And really sitting with that until there's an energetic shift that, oh my God, we are in the same boat. You know, your well being affects my well being. And then there's a part of me that judges my actions, right? Oh, Dre, look what you did. Like, you know the impact, you know the needs were met by that, by your actions. You're such a terrible person, or you should be better. It's like, oh my God, let's empathize with that part of myself, like too. Oh, okay. What's he caring for? So what are the needs I was trying to meet by those actions too? So not only the needs that were met by me doing the thing that created this impact, what was I trying to do? What needs were I trying to meet? So it's like tuning into all the parts of myself that are involved and connecting with the needs, slowing down enough.
And for people that don't know how we're referencing needs, do you wanna define it?
Yeah. So needs are words to describe our life-serving energy, and this is from nonviolent communication. Needs such as, air, water, food, shelter, right? And then there's needs like belonging, community, connection, compassion, needs for choice, freedom, effectiveness, clarity. So these are like kind of core values that all human beings share.
Mourning
That
being one of.
yes, and that when we're tapped into gives us our life serving energy. Like simply everything that we say or do is an attempt to meet a need underneath it all. It's like the motivation and intention behind our actions.
Right. I love because yeah, and needs are life-serving energy. And so, really, if we're grieving or mourning, and it actually provides life-serving energy, ironically, because it's a need to
Yeah.
grieve, to mourn, to appreciate life as it is and was.
You know what's interesting?
Mm.
Like as you say, life serving, it contributes to creating a life. Because when I tune into my needs, the felt sense of it is like this: I'm alive. Interesting enough. So if I tune into my core of what I desire, want, and need, it's as if life wants to be born through me. It wants to manifest through me. It wants to expand and express itself versus the opposite.
Yeah.
So that's why it's life serving energy when we tune into our needs.
Mhm. And that's why even in death, it can be feel like life-serving energy because it's just life completing one of its many, uh, phases, really. Um, do more comments in here. She says she thinks there's a tendency to hide our grief in little caves inside us, and somehow think that's courage. Yeah, right. Courage is not that. Cour comes from the French word means heart. Yeah, there's some distortions in these things, isn't it? Think that it's courage or strength. And she says, "Okay, my poo companion." Ah, yes. Those
Pudo.
that help us compost our shit, right? It all contributes to creating an authentic life, right? What's authentic life? It's not trying to be courageous and show different things. It's also not trying to one up other people and exaggerate things or whatever. It's a process because I think our culture really has taught us to contort ourselves in so many different ways. Um, but how do we know when we're in true alignment with ourselves? There's life-serving energy afoot, and it'll move through us if we allow this conduit to be open to what's happening through us. So we really just have to get out of the way. And the more you're right, we authentically express those things. They have that out there now, authentic anger or rage or grief. There haven't been enough processes. just to allow that to arise authentically. And I think in our culture, we may be mm, allowing pockets of that, but I think it's missing a continuity with all emotions, just to have one emotion in one process versus a whole community and a container that sees all of the pieces, um, and allows those pieces to emerge naturally in the living of life.
Yeah. You know, a key core piece of healing for me is to do it in groups.
Mm.
You know, it's
Yeah,
it's not
trust.
complete when I do it on my own because again, I'm born in a relationship, and there's parts of me that orient towards relationships and externalizes its worth to external feedback, right? And I can do all the self work all I want. There's still those wounded parts that want that confirmation as well. So this idea of, and I've shared the story many times, is to put myself in environments where I can practice expressing myself. You know, especially for those that grew up in environments where it wasn't safe to express your needs or your feelings or your own thoughts. Like I had to abdicate that. It was terrifying to not. Right? There was this idea, don't talk back to your parents. Right? They know everything, and therefore I'm just a surrogate. I'm just like of them, right? And so this practice of like, yeah, finding safe spaces where I can begin practicing over and over again, expressing my feelings, needs, and wants and desires over and over again. So I can start excavating, unlayering who I am really, not based on like what other people are telling me, right? Being
And
tuned in.
isn't that the point there? I love how you just said that. Excavating who I really am. If you're always abdicating your feelings and needs to your parents or your caregivers, or they tell you what to do, you know, don't cry or give you something to cry about, how do you know who you are? If you don't feel your emotions authentically, if you can't express them, if you can't ask, and how do you find your purpose? How do you find why you're truly here and what you love and what gives you life serving energy if you're not able to express any of those things? It makes it really hard. And I empathize with people that are, oh, I got to get a job, or I'll do this, or I'll try this. And what are the reasons? And some people get, there's so much adrenal fatigue, burnout, exhaustion, meaninglessness at different work and jobs. And I think it really starts with the very fundamentals of going back, like you say. Hmm. Not necessarily about doing inner child work or all of those things, but how we relate to the life-serving energy within us. Do we turn it off? Do we know what it means? Do we know how to have a relationship with it? That's the first relationship. And it's so not in often in our culture in how life really works and how energy works. Like, people are into quantum physics and the universal law, but we haven't really been taught how that relates to our own body conduits. Like, I always say we're the most bio-advanced engineered technology there is, but we don't know how to use it. We're so focused on outside technology, and I think as the outside technology gets better and grows better, we are, there's this inner mirror to it all, which is really exciting. Um, but I do think we've got a ways to go. And Christine, hey, it's a big party today. Hi, Christine. Nice. Yeah, you can jump in at any time. Welcome. We've been talking about poop and grief and recycling and death as a process of life.
Yeah. The common theme that's coming out for me is, we all share this is how can I just be with all of myself without needing to fix it or judge it?
Yeah.
Just a quality of presence and just allowing that to reorient itself. Because
Because it does.
a lot of programs are going up. is about shoulds or have tos or compartmentalization to fit in. And now the journey is to, okay, unravel that, excavate that, get back to my authentic self, right? To be with all of it. And in a sense of growing up my psyche. It's a process of maturation. And maturation is also a process of grief,
It is.
grieving the old ways, my old version, my old relationships that know fell to the wayside because it's change. And with change comes loss. Even aging is a grieving process. Looking in the mirror. How do I be with all of that?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Giselle might have an answer. She's got a longer thing here. Let's see. Giselle says, I know for myself when I'm going through something painful, I have an automatic knee jerk reaction to run and be alone because of all the shame I feel. Ah, shame, that pesky thing. Yeah. This is a pattern I've developed and learned. This pattern, I believe, is why it has taken me so long to excavate. Ah, well, some excavations are deep and wide, and some ancestral stuff can be found in there. Shame. Hmm. What do you,
Yeah, shame is an interesting thing. Because there's it's multi-layered. There's I could say healthy shame and unhealthy shame, right?
mm,
Unhealthy shame, they say, John Bradshaw says, is like I identify myself as a bad person. If I did this thing, it's not the action is bad, or like, oh, it's that I'm a bad person. Like I
mhm,
associate my identity with that and I self-judge myself, which then can send me into a spiral. And then the victim parts of myself latches on and the judge latches on. And I've really disempowered myself. Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
unhealthy shame is when I get into a state of powerlessness, like self-induced, because there's times where I'm powerless and I gotta accept that. Things outside of my control. But in the case of like doing it to myself, right? Healthy shame is when shame lets me know that I care, that I give a shit, that I care about the impact, that as a group, as a community, this don't do this behavior, don't steal, for example, right? Okay, got it. I stolen and I'm like, oh, whoops, right? Or perhaps I didn't clean up after myself. I ate, right? And I didn't take away my dishes. I made a mess for someone else to clean up, you know? And if someone perhaps there's some shame around that, like, hey, Dre, like you gotta look after the environment, all that. And I could take that as shame. And that could help kind of train me to care for the culture, to care for what would be supportive for us to move forward.
Mm, mhm. Yeah,
Yes.
I like how you said that. There's some thread that you put there at the beginning that I really appreciated with that what you spoke to. I don't remember what it was exactly, but, well, the distinguishing between the self-induced with the victim and the judge parts of us lashing on, and also the parts that can harm others at times, and having that auto self-correct mechanism that allows us to grow versus, I would say, not contribute life or serving energy. Instead, we always have these they're choices, but in our culture, we tend to only think we have one choice, which is often a form of blame, shame, and self berating, I would say, or berating of others. Um, Giselle, what else are you saying? I love this. We're having this conversation. Again, I believe the shame has to do with the whole idea or belief of all the shoulds as you were. I should. Yeah, again, the judgment parts, right? And if we think of our life now or what age we are, we judge whatever that is. And I'm kind of big into thinking of not only this life, but other lives. There's a whole culture out there. There's a whole consciousness out there that we are evolving with. And we're this thread. And as we honor our unique thread in the whole tapestry of life, how can it be anything but perfect? How could it be? Unless we don't trust life itself. And this is where Trey says, here's the mental gymnastics that goes on again, right? Like, okay, God can't know what they're doing, and so I'm not perfect the way that I am because God must be faulty then. Maybe we are original sinners. But Matthew Fox's book, Original Blessing, which got him into a lot of trouble and kicked out, um, is that we're born to bring life through us and in so many different ways. And so trust your excavation, Giselle. That's all I'm going to say today is just trust it and all the digging and the things that you find and however the excavation goes. And I know it's tricky to be with even the most negative gnashing of teeth, darkness that we find. But even darkness has its silence. And right now I'm getting this vision of a deep, dark, dank hole. And even in there, the smell of the earth that exists in there. Christine, woohoo! What does Christine say? I've never thought of the good and the of good and bad shame. Yeah, it's different. Thanks, Dre. Very interesting. Well said. Yeah, I agree. Well said.
Mm. Yeah. And as you're coming to time, one word that came through for me is interdependence.
Mm.
Like not
Mm-hmm.
being meshed with dependency, even enmeshed with my parts,
Mm-hmm.
or independent where I bypass or I disconnect and it's just all about me. It's realizing I'm part of the whole and that I care for myself and care for others and the impact that I leave. So this means I can be myself, guys. I love myself. And at the same time, I love those around me and care for the core values that keep the world spinning, our human needs, our human needs, right? It's again, how can we make life more wonderful together? Knowing that your well being and my well being is one and the same,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's that sense of freedom and also safety with the whole, that I'm supported, not just a lone wolf and on my own. So the idea of wholeness, integration, as above, so below starts with, yeah, my inner system, right? How's that going on within myself? Is there a war going on? Just with that, checks me in with my language, even with the shoulds, right? And it can be so intoxicating when it's familiar, when I have the chemicals running in my system, the stress cortisol, that I'm so used to operating from a place of shame to get stuff done, to get approval, to know that I belong through shaming myself. And it just takes time to unprogram that, unlayer that, and excavate. Yeah. And thank you for those that are on that journey and doing that. Because when we can integrate, right, we just automatically make a safer world because we project less, we can take ownership. We see our shadow distortions and projections a lot more quicker. We know how to repair conflict. We speak in ways that are life giving, right? Less blame and shame. Right? We start treating each other like human beings, right? Yeah, a lot more and more and more.
Yeah, lots of excavation. And Giselle says, boy, there's a lot of digging going on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's a lot of
mhm.
digging, and it's not just for ourselves. We're digging ourselves out of centuries, centuries of distortion.
Yeah. As if like I'm doing the work for my ancestors and their
Mm.
ancestors and their ancestors. Thank you very much. Right? It,
Yeah.
it impacts the whole lineage. Yeah. humanity.
Yeah, working our way back to what's life-giving and, like you said, I can't remember when you're talking about that, but, because we have a very, materialistic society and not to go back and, have to live the hard life of, you know, perhaps the pioneers that came across, but how do we live with that in integrity and have enough and feel because I judge and I came from a, wealthy enough background that sometimes we can have too much stuff. And it's not life-giving. It's draining to have clutter everywhere all the time. And so, what's truly life-giving? Like you say, as we breathe into those needs and what makes the world go around where and going back to summer school, we talked about filling the well. As we fill our own cup, we fill the well that the culture lives in. Do we just take and buy things at less for more to have more stuff, or is that draining? What actually authentically gives to the well that everyone can fill their cup from?
Hmm. And then be inspired and have the willingness to create other wells, to
That's
build
what
other wells for those to be replenished and replenish. Yeah. And that's how we, create the tipping point. We all can do our part just by the way we show up for ourselves. Yeah. When we can show up with ourselves with more compassion, more grace, more patience, more kindness. Oh, yeah. It's right here. I can touch it. It's achievable. I can see it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that can lead to social change. And I believe will lead to social change when we can then start taking that out, taking the practice off the mat and putting into the world just by the simple intention of making eye contact with the people you come across. Right?
Mhm.
The simplest things, the simplest behaviors, and even sharing these concepts with those that are open. Yeah.
The building of culture.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm. We don't need to heal alone. We're just always being put back into life itself through the mirroring of others and what's truly authentic, what's life giving rather than taking, I guess. And that's not to say that we don't die or there's no death, because death itself is a part of life. It's when we're fighting and forcing and fixing and struggling against the acceptance of what is that it
Mm.
really becomes more depleting. And Giselle has one more, and maybe it's our last comment. Wow, that hour went by tremendously fast. Um, what gives to the well is being who we truly are meant to be by doing the excavation. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And by digging, we make the well deeper.
Ooh.
Hmm. And then we have to fill it with more life-giving energy. And I guess that's true. As we dig deeper, there is more life that comes from it too, as well.
Yeah. Bigger capacity to hold that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. What a
Hmm.
beautiful ending and closing to today.
Yeah.
Oh, we have
Absolutely.
one more comment. Love it. You guys are just partying it up in here today. Um, Christine says, yes, Giselle. No shame. Well, there's some use for some shame. Now I feel so much shame. The last 2 days, I've been filled with shame, asking myself what I'm going to do now. I'm sitting with it. That's giving it a lot of thought. I've decided to talk to those involved. Two down, one to go. Oh, great job, Christine. My 92-year-old dad. After a short talk, he said, I love you. Aw, great. Then hung up the phone.
Mm.
Beautiful. Yeah. Taking those energies and then also talking to those in those heartfelt ways
Yeah.
can only build the repair and the life that we're really looking to build.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Beautiful. And
Yes.
so if you're not part of our Facebook group yet, you can join us, be with us. We're going to kickstart the workshops in the fall. We're taking a break for the summer, but we'll be back on the free workshops in the fall. We also have some programs on conscious communication starting around the fall as well. Just be part of our group, Relational Wisdom. You can find us on there. And we'll also have like a calendar of events, calls coming up as well for the month of August, shared to you shortly. Yes,
We
summer.
are watching a movie for those of
Mm.
you. It'll be put in the group shortly. Rescued Hearts, it's called. And it's a premiere movie of horses around the world and their presence and their relationship now that we're being more open, I think, as a human species to animals and really understanding their capacities to heal through their presence. So,
Do we have a date for that yet?
yes, it's August 8th. Very serendipitous. It's the Lionsgate 8/8. So, look for it in the group. We'll be having a group showing of that movie, and I think it'll be very touching. Mhm.
Mm,
Mhm.
beautiful.
All right.
Okay. Well, be well, everybody. Until next time, Train Summer signing off.
Bye.